Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be moving into our next series. It is going to be Root Cats facing off versus Dragon. Zombie Grub, your thoughts about these two players? And yeah,
Well, okay. I noticed that they Dragon at least vetoed Overgrowth first, okay? And so that kind of tells me that they're looking to play like really weird games. Because like it's
yeah,
$10, it's not the biggest deal. I mean, I feel like Dragon would certainly be like just willing to have fun and do stupid shit, and CatZ does
yeah.
that anyways to try and win.
Cats would
So,
do it for thousands of dollars. He would
right.
definitely do it for $10.
Exactly. So I'm actually kind of expecting like really funny games here. Very action packed, I would hope, not just like super serious, turtle to roach, that type of boring ZVZ.
Exactly. Like I know that there are a lot of people who like watch Dragon stream and everything. They see him. He likes to troll around. He loves doing kind of weird and wonky things that don't actually make a lot of sense sometimes. And CatZ does a lot of weird and wonky things that don't make sense until you really, really think about them, and then you're like, "Holy cow, that's actually genius."
Yeah.
So this is going to be like an expansion of the meta, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we're going to discover what the true meta of Heart of the Storm really should have been all
Uh-huh.
this time.
Yeah.
Um,
CatZ was in their original release of Heart of the Swarm, the first one to kind of jump on the Swarm hosts in ZVZ
yeah,
train. So I remember that being really fun. But of course, he had to really rein back a little bit as the meta was really discovered. But it is Catalina and it's a three-player map, so I wouldn't be surprised we have to start off with a 10 pool.
all right. Well, we're going to jump into the game, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you there.
Team Gravity presents Fight Night.
Y'all ready for this?
All right, spawning over here in the 9 o'clock position on Catalina, we have the orange Zerg player, captain of Root Gaming. It is CatZ.
In the upper right, as the red Terran, it's Dragon.
Nothing weird yet. Yet.
Yeah. I thought it was a ZVZ for some like whatever reason. I didn't think I'm surprised you didn't catch me when I was talking about Roach versus Roach. I don't know what I
Oh
was
my
thinking.
god, I
I guess
don't know
because
why I didn't catch you either.
yeah, I guess because
Actually.
the other two matchups today are mirrors. TVT and a
Yeah.
PvP. I just assumed it's a CVZ. And like Dragon's weird. Like I'll play whatever race,
Yeah.
right? So that's totally my
I can
bad.
see him off race, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
totally that is totally my bad though. And I would still say it's possible to open up with a 10 pool in Catalina, but ZVT makes it completely different than CVC.
Yeah. Well, we did mention this before in a previous series, and that was a TBT, but Reaper's still pretty good on this map, so could very well end up seeing a Dragon go for some kind of early Reaper shenanigans. I would have thought, but looking at the gas count, doesn't look like it's going to be the case.
Mm. Yeah, gasless expand versus what CatZ is doing, which is very quick speed on one base. Of course, he'll get a hatchery soon enough, but this is a very aggressive opener. It could definitely catch a lot of people off guard. And what's really, really bad about this is that Dragon, okay, he is going to go ahead and scout it, although he's scouting it correctly first, so maybe not. I mean, this is just like, you get a Reaper, you scout, you get like a really early scout, and you're okay. Like, you command center in the high ground, you know to keep your Marines safe, whatever. But if you don't scout it fast enough, you put that command center on the low ground, it's
Oh,
highly likely that Lings will cancel it.
exactly, and that is exactly what has happened. He plants that command center on the low ground. The first Overlord is actually going to get picked on, so that is a nice win over here for Dragon. CatZ maybe not anticipating the gasless expand over here, so that actually might delay any additional Zergons. I mean, there's going to be enough Zergons to do some nice damage to that natural command center, but it's going to definitely delay it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So the SCV sees that there's Lings, all right? And if he could deny the gas scout, that'd be really nice, but did he?
I don't think he did. I'm
Oh, he
pretty
did.
sure,
Okay.
yeah, Gas Geyser got seen.
All right, so that kind of sucks.
Baneling Nest. Oh,
Okay, all right. One
Okay.
base Spainling all in. Well, even if I got the matchup wrong, I still called the aggressiveness. Gonna hold
There you
by
go.
that.
This is a common ZVZ build.
Yeah,
on the ground.
totally.
Just anticipating everything. Of course, we are expanding and looking at I was gonna say expanding and looking at the meta of the future for Heart of the Swarm, but really we're looking at the meta for Wings of Liberty, like early games Wings of Liberty. It's been a while since I've seen a Baneling bust this early on.
Yeah, one base, like that's insane. But you know, Dragon, he got his command center to finish. That's already pretty good. He realized that he needs a very fast wall off, even before 6 minutes, which is like typically the fastest you'll get it. So he does that as well. But will he expect the Banelings? He actually has production getting ramped up right now. He didn't go for a third CC, but rather 2 more barracks. We'll have to see how that actually will help him out. He has no wall off on the high ground. That could be a big problem.
Oh man, this is actually going to be brutal right now. Dragon, where are his units? He's trying to get out as many Marines as possible. But here come in the Banelings. One Baneling immediately getting sniped off, but more than enough Banelings to bust through that bunker in the supply depot.
Oh, if only that second bunker was finished, he'd actually be pretty okay. Well, again, the main not having a wall off might still have made it really, really bad. So with more Lings on the way, I don't know if he could really expand out of this. I'm not sure Dragon can do anything. He needs to get a wall off on the high ground, and then maybe he can salvage the situation.
Well, he's got a couple of Marines that just popped out, so yeah, maybe he can just manage to do something. He's starting to try to create the wall off, but oh god, the Zerg's already causing some trouble with that, and these Zerg's are just going to buy just enough time to actually no, he manages to kill off the Zerg. That was actually a really great turn and fire. The SCV gets a kill on one of the Zergans, and he's able to start that wall off.
Okay. 2 Banelings are morphing in the main base, but they are discovered and quickly sniped. Ooh. And now suddenly CatZ is in a lot of trouble. The wall off is there. He'll need to dedicate back into more Banelings. But does he have enough Lings to follow that up? The Marine count's starting to get kind of uncontrollable.
Yeah, and I want to note, I mean, Dragon still has SCVs to lose right now. He's sitting at 22, and he's got that command center on the low ground. He's building a bunker on the low ground, which I think is actually a really great decision. Look at the kind of great position you can get into over here. As long as there's no Banelings that move in over there, those Marines are going to be very, very well protected.
Yeah. It's going to get very interesting. I mean, usually you do not see this cross of builds, you know, 1 base Baneling bust versus 3 naked racks on 2 bases. Like, this just isn't...
That's why we're having these 2 players in the show match.
Right. So what's I think is going to happen is, depending on Dragon's control, is you're gonna have to bust the bunker. That's already a lot of Banelings lost, and he might be able to snipe off a couple of more Banelings. But with 12, that still leaves, like, you know, 4, I would say, and that's still a scary amount. Like, the splits would have to be really good after that.
Yep. Banelings are going to be moving on. Why is this 3rd CC going down over there? Well, it actually messes with the pathing a little bit. Banelings going to be able to explode on both bunkers. Actually, a really effective use of those Banelings. But this spread is actually pretty good.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't that bad. There's a couple of more Marines on the backside. That was all of CatZ's Lings. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of production, you know? Like, there's 2 Lings at a time, so that orange trail really isn't that impressive.
Exactly. He doesn't have the natural expansion, and honestly, he just doesn't have the drone count either. Anyways, even if he did have more larvae, he's spending all of his money trying to get out these Zergans, trying to get more Banelings up. He's trying to make a couple more Banelings, but by the time the Banelings actually come in, the bunkers are going to be finished again.
Yeah. It looks like Dragon has held, and in part because of this weird opener. Even the like, if he had opened up with Hellions, oh, wow, he gets all the Marines.
There's no Marines left. There's no Marines. Well, that's one way to deal with bunkers. Just kill the Marines before they get in, and the Zergans actually block off the Marines from getting to the low ground. They can't get in the bunkers.
No. Okay, there's still the high ground. The high ground is still here. In fact, bringing the SCVs, he really wants to keep the low ground.
Yeah. Okay. CatZ still does not have more than 14 workers, so Dragons can still afford to lose more workers. God, if there were just 2 more Banelings over there, that SCV pull would not have worked, but now the SCV is trying to get the wall in up again. The Marines are finally loaded up into that other bunker.
I feel like this is just it for CatZ. 6 Banelings have got to do wonders here. They got to bust through at least 1 bunker. More Marines on the way. In fact, a 4th rack somehow squeezed in there.
All of the SCVs are in the natural. All of the SCVs are in the natural, actually, right now.
Oh, could he do something?
There's still potential.
Okay, he's going for the bunker.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Got 2 Banelings left over. He's going to be able to kill off a decent number of these workers as well. I mean, he's starting to equalize the supply a little bit. He's actually keeping the Banelings alive, which is something I really, really like over here. And now he's going to be able to use them, maybe?
He's
What?
still against 3 command centers. Dragon just scanned the natural to confirm that it's still 1 base, and as long as it's still 1 base, heck, even if it was 2 bases, there still would have been like a really, really low drone count. So I still would have saved the game too. Like Dragon he has the follow-up. CatZ doesn't.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, if CatZ can somehow maintain this contained on the low ground, he denies the mining. I mean, sure, having 3CC is really nice. You can replenish that SCV count. But if you don't actually have the bases to mine from with them, that can still work out. Like, I'm just trying to think, how does CatZ play this out? Because he's just making more units. He's not droning up or anything about, oh, he's just going to go for the boss. But Dragon knows this is, like, the most obvious move.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's too bad, you know. At first, I was like, well, the Hellions may or may not have helped because it was such a tight, you know, choke-in. But at Factory, if it was still here, like, oh, like 1 or 2 Hellions would be so helpful.
Well, actually, he might be able to bust on through over here. Banelings don't quite get the connections off. Oh, if he had, yeah, good target fire down over there from Dragon. And these Zergons are going to get cleaned up. They managed to kill off a couple of these workers. One Baneling comes in a little bit late to the party just to explode on the supply depot.
Okay, so he brings Dragon back down to 13 workers, and now they're kind of even. But does CatZ say, I did my job, I can now go back to droning? Because he is, but I just say, like, there's no way. Like, you're conceding the low ground eventually. You're probably going to have to concede the 3rd base as well. Like, you're just... There's no follow-up.
Well, okay. He's going for lair tech. I don't think he's actually planning to expand right now. I think he's just planning to 1 base it a little bit longer. And... oh god, here's the thing, as you were saying, like, it's something that Dragon's already been doing. He has 3 orbitals. He doesn't actually have to use them all on mules. He can actually just use them on scans to keep an eye on what CatZ is doing, and whatever CatZ does, it's not going to catch Dragon off guard, theoretically.
Is he going to want to mute us off the back of this? Like, it's the only thing I could... Either that or Swarm Host, but that'd be weird.
I mean, he's got overlords around the map. He could, like, potentially just drop creep somewhere and throw something down. But, I mean, if he wanted to do that, he'd have to move a drone out. Well, he's moving a drone down to the natural. Looks like it's just going to be taking the expansion.
What's that later? All right. He's a little scared of going down there, right? Because, like, there could be banelings. So I'm surprised he doesn't scan forward. See, there's only, like, 6 lings down there. All right, there you go.
Burrow would actually be a really cool way for CatZ to kind of bring himself in the game. Oh, actually, yeah, there's Burrow. So some Burrowed Banes, I mean, you never know. Dragon, he hasn't really been able to get up stim for a very long time. All that kind of stuff, like medevacs and everything, they're all going to be very delayed. He's not going to have combat shields for a while. Well, actually, sorry, I say that, but he already has combat shields, so never mind me.
Yeah, he got there before stim, a little bit of an interesting choice. But the upgrades are kind of odd, too. Of course, he had to build it to help the wall, and he just figured why not use them as well. But finally, that factory's on the way. He could go ahead and get Hellions or Hellbats, even, or just go straight up to a medevacs and then start abusing medevacs, basically. Like, you know, dropping everywhere. And what the heck could CatZ ever do? He has 1 queen for anti-air. Apparently, he's going to go into Infestors.
What?
Technically counts as anti-air, but not really.
What? Why Infestor is going to be the choice from CatZ? Okay. I guess it kind of makes sense. Like, all CatZ can really make right now are Zerglings and Banelings. And if Banelings get really good hits on Marines because they're locked down by fungal growth, you could take an engagement pretty handily. And I guess you can do, like, 4 Brofester hit squad shenaniganry. Like, this is... I don't know what CatZ is planning, but I want to see how it works out.
Can he even afford 4 Infestors? No, you can only get 2.
Look, you can have a 2 brothers that are Infestors. It doesn't have to be 4 brothers, okay?
All right. Now, what I'd really like to see
squad.
is that CatZ maybe uses Burrowed Banelings. It's Catalina. There's a couple of ramps that you know they're going to go on.
I think maybe it was something he was considering doing later on, but right now, just to get out the Infestors, he didn't have any gas to spare, so he's getting out those 4 Infestors right now, but the Marines and Marauders are moving across the map. This is going to be scary. Okay, hit. All right, but he's revealed that the Burrowed Banelings are there now, and remember, Dragon knows now, and he has the 3 orbital commands. He's going to be saving up scans. He already has 1 scan saved up.
Yeah. Plus, I think that was the only 2 Banelings CatZ made.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, Burrowed Baneling sounds legit, but I need my gas for my Infestors.
Actually, well, Dragon going to be moving back. I actually think that this is going to work out better for Dragon if he does retreat, because he does no idea about these Infestors. And if the Infestors land 2 or 3 chain fungal growths on this army, I mean, those Marines are dead. There's no medevacs healing them.
Yeah. Medevacs are about to pop out. Remember that he has upgrades, which doesn't help out against the infestors technically, but
Yeah.
I mean, this game is just gonna, start to snowball. Dragon's gonna have difficulty getting a third, as I don't think he realized that lings are burrowed at each, but eventually he will, and he'll just have such a sick economy. And CatZ, when is CatZ ever gonna get his own third? Should never happen.
Yeah. This reminds me, actually, I'm starting to think about it. This reminds me of the old Destiny style, where he would go for like the really fast tech up to obviously not on one base, but he would go for the fast tech up to infestors, and he would be behind on bases for a while, even against like Protoss players or Terran players, and he would sit on those 2 bases. But once he got out a decent number of infestors, he just had enough of a power unit that he could start taking bases rapidly. So he didn't necessarily have a fast third or even a decently timed third, but then he would take a third, a fourth, and a fifth really, really quickly in quick succession, and he would use the infestors as just his power units to try and defend them.
Wasn't that in Wings of Liberty?
That was in Wings of Liberty, so take it with a grain of salt. Also, fungal growths not quite good enough against the continued. Oh my God, he's used like 6 fungal growths or something against these this drop, and it's just so difficult to clean up.
Yeah, but he did cause at least the SCVs to get off of mining at the natural base, but it's still even worker count, which of course does not favor the Zerg player when you count for mules.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna focus fire down the command center, which is getting repaired anyways, so don't know if that would have been too effective. But CatZ is really, he's got a couple of infestors out, but he's got to be so careful. If he uses up too much energy, then Dragon pushes out and he just kills CatZ because there's no power units.
So it's an interesting way to come back in this game. If CatZ can afford a third base, maybe like a secret one too, that would be really good. He is setting up for what looks to be, Lings getting into the main, Lings and Banelings attacking the third once Dragon pushes out. But that creep spread, he only had like 1 queen for a very long time. So, the live tumor that was scanned when Dragon first pushed, that was like basically it for his creep spread.
That has definitely hurt his ability to get that creep spread. And I want to note how important that creep spread was, because do we even have centrifugal hooks on these Banelings? No, we don't. CatZ is kind of hurting. He can't really even afford that. So every little bit of that extra speed for those Banelings is going to be unbelievably important. Oh, I don't know if these Banelings are going to make the hits that he needs. Well, he burrows too. Does Dragon knows? He does.
Oh, well, nothing's really working out so far for CatZ. Even the infestors, I thought they were going to do something getting in there. Oh my goodness.
Oh, those are money fungals. Oh, he's got a couple more, actually. Wow, these infestors are just scaring this entire army. And he manages to get out a couple of infested Terrans over here. I think there's still a burrowed Baneling. No, actually got picked off.
Yeah, with a scan. Doesn't have Marauder slow, so it's a little hard to pick off these infestors, but gets 1 on the retreat. 3 more infestors coming out. I guess CatZ is just gonna straight up go Ling infestor.
I mean, it's definitely not a style we've seen for a while. Oh God, scan gets thrown down. Are there any scans left over? There's another scan to be thrown down. That is gonna be the last scan, though. Is he able to get those infestors? Yeah, he's gonna get most of them.
Yeah, I mean, that one's so low on energy that it might come back to, kill a couple of SCVs the third, but not really too worrisome. I'm surprised Dragon's just pushing right now. That's what he should do. Just push and win. Just do it. Well, now we have the Stormhost on the way.
Does he need to right now? I mean, as long as it just keeps denying a third from CatZ. I guess, yeah, he needs to deny this third over here at least. But yeah, CatZ trying to double expand, has that third going up right now, but as you were saying, Dragon's finally pushing in. He's not going to let this happen, and he knows about those infestors. He knows about the power from them. He just needs to free split his units.
Even a little bit is just enough,
Yeah.
And honestly, the more Marauders he gets, the harder the Fungals are going to be to actually kill any units. Isn't their scan goes down? This is it.
It was a really cool. Okay, I've got to say, in consideration of other ways that Zerg players will try and bring themselves back into a game, I very much prefer the infestors over the Swarmhosts. And for not so much as a strategic choice, but as a enjoyment of watching the game, very much more entertaining.
Ling counterattack does absolutely nothing. Yeah. All right. Well, it brings Dragon home for whatever reason. I really don't think that was necessary. I'm just waiting for this game to end. I can't believe it's gone on for 25 minutes.
I know, it's the almost failed Baneling bust, but Dragon just got orbital commands and CatZ never expanded. That's going to be enough, though. GG gets called. Dragon going to be putting his name on the scoreboard first, taking game number 1. So this is gonna be an interesting series, I feel. It's gonna be one of those series.
Yeah, yeah. What's so funny is I don't think Dragon wasn't responding to what he scouted from CatZ with the 2 extra racks.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, it's possible, but I think that's the case. But was rather going to do some type of weird marine push himself.
Mhm.
And that would have been cool to see. So, you know, both players, both really weird, willing to play really weird. It'll be fun.
It will definitely be an experience that we won't forget for a little bit, but we're going to be moving into map number 2, and what is map number 2 going to be? Looks like
And I.
Vonnie Research Station. I want to note something, by the way. In the veto process, because of course there are like vetoes and everything, and we decide all the maps are get decided. This is one of the very first series in a fairly long time that I've seen. If we go to the ace match, if we go to game 5, it's on Infernal Pools.
Oof. Interesting.
Nobody banned it. Nobody banned it. They banned, I think, what was it? So, Vonnie Research Station going to be map 2. Deadwing is map 3. Expedition is map 4. And then Infernal Pools is map 5. So, Secret Spring and Catalina were banned. Oh, sorry, not Catalina. Overgrowth.
Yeah, I was going to say Overgrowth. Mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Should be interesting. I'm curious if these 2 players have anything planned moving into game number 2, but I don't know. Like Dragon, as you said, like it looked like maybe he was looking to do some kind of early aggression, but CatZ has so far shown that he wants to be the sort of aggressive one. We'll see if he keeps it up as we move into game number 2, and we spawn down here in the bottom side of the map. Vonnie Research Station, top of the red Terran player, currently sitting up. Want to know? It is Dragon.
In the top position, as the orange Zerg, it's Root Cats.
People in the chat talking about, like, wait, when did CatZ get 1-1? How could he afford that on those 2 bases?
Yeah.
Maybe you should have gotten Central Fuga hooks instead of 1-1.
I do wonder, because as far as upgrades go, they're great for Lings, but, you know, are you really expecting your Lings to win out battles when you're down
Yeah.
like that? Whereas opposed to getting more Banelings or faster Banelings, if they connect, they're gonna kill whether or not they have upgrades, right? So there's actually been, like, you know, games that we've cast before where, like, Pig was actually pretty much the most famous because he did it like twice or even 3 times, just coincidental. Where did you see those SCVs?
He
Okay.
saw one of the SCVs, he didn't see the second one.
Okay.
The SCV timing isn't, like, weird enough that I would say Dragon would just be immediately alerted, like, wait a second, he's proxying me, but it's a potential, right?
I would say so. I would. I mean, okay, now the drone for CatZ scouted anyways, and
Oh.
he's gonna see
that
that it's weird, but it's a 1 Rax Marine. Like, what? How is this gonna work for Dragon? I don't. Okay, it's a 2 Rax. Okay, the second Rax.
The second Rax. Yeah, second Rax is pretty late. Cat sees that there's nothing else, and he sees, okay, you didn't, like, CC first or something, right? Yeah. Cat should know. He went for the hatch first, though, so this does make it a little bit hard to hold. Here's the problem. 2 Rax pressure. Awesome to do. Normally, one of your objectives is kill off the natural expansion. You can't do that on Vonnie Research Station. You're going to be moving into their main base. Like, you can't build bunkers in range of their hatchery.
Whoa, but CatZ went for like a 16 or 17 pool? Like, what? He's doing something really greedy for knowing that a 2 Rax is on its way. I think he thought that there's a couple mind games in here where, like, he knows that I know he knows, so he shouldn't do the 2 Rax.
Oh my god.
And he's gonna lose because of that.
What? The SCVs are being pulled for Dragon, and the Overlord finally spots it. Now Cat should know how invested his opponent is into this. He's trying to, I guess, free up as much supply as possible, like throwing down the is he throwing down the gas geyser for? Oh my god. Does he? Can he just retreat to his natural and just try and defend that?
Technically,
No,
yes.
he's gonna lose his spawning pool if he does that, though.
Right.
Oh,
He's gotta get, like, everything that he needs right here, like a queen, lings, a spine crawler. It's all gotta come before the spawning pool dies.
Oh my god. Well, CatZ has effectively given up his main base, but as you were saying, like, yeah, like once he loses the spawning pool, by the way, I'm actually surprised the Dragon's not even just like focus firing down the spawning pool at this point, because once he kills that off, there's no spine crawlers, there's no queens, there's no zerglings coming out. All of the defensive countermeasures for CatZ are just going to be gone. But hatchery going to be the first target. SCVs, I'm surprised they're not even just like building bunkers or something right now.
I was about to say, you know, if he kills all these lings, I think he could wall off the natural ramp. Just so silly to say. But CatZ is actually just gonna try and run past, maybe? Or she's got some decent surround.
Yeah, gets actually a decent surround. He's gonna be able to kill off this bunker. It looks maybe. Actually, bunker managed to stay at full health for a long time. He's gonna lose almost all these zerglings.
Yeah, and it's not burning either. So I mean, he got all the SCVs. That's great. That puts Dragon down to 9. But it's not burning, so that's I mean, it's gonna be there until the next attack. But that was a lot of lings to lose.
Yeah, and here's another problem. The creep is starting to recede from that spawning pool. Let's say that CatZ somehow comes up with a miracle defense over here, and he tries to rebuild that hatchery. Spawning pool's already so low on health at this point that even if Dragon just left right now, I don't think a hatchery could build fast enough and spread the creep there to save it. I think the spawning pool dies no matter what.
Okay, so he's gonna try and do Burrowed Roach, which is a good enough response. This just looks weird because it's Vanna and you killed the main, not the natural. But that'll make sure, like, the spawning pool going down, no more queens, that sucks, but he's not gonna go for lings anyways. He's going for Roach Burrow, so the spawning pool technically doesn't have to be remade anytime soon. Technically.
Yeah. What happened to the drone that was like scouting out from CatZ? I feel like this is a situation where
home.
Oh, if he had had the opportunity to like proxy hatch the natural or something, and just start mining from Dragon's natural, this would have been like actually a great situation for CatZ.
I honestly thought that he was, you know, when the drone was at the natural just chilling, I was like, I got proxy hatching you. But then he did it on the natural, so this game as a whole has been really confusing. I thought CatZ is gonna like slap this down, no problem, but he was greedy on the pool. But as it is, I mean, let's just think about the natural being the main here. This doesn't look too different than the other 2 racks that a Zerg mishandled and is now back on his main. All right, and Roach Burrow can fix that situation. That can bring you back. But Dragon should know about this. This is not, you know, 3 months ago where only True was doing this type of tactic. Like, a lot of people do the Roach Burrow response to your racks.
His Marines are all out on the map right now, though. He's tagging the zone like a watchtower, but these roaches may actually go unscouted now.
Oh god, it's gonna be a base trade, isn't it?
Oh my god, yeah, Dragon's also, he's still continuing to make units from those 2 barracks that were proxied. This actually is just gonna be a base trade. CatZ does catch wind of those Marines being out on the map, though. And Dragon, is he gonna decide to retreat on home to defend, or is he gonna go for the base trade?
Okay, he's going towards the base trade. I mean, at this point, you just can't go back home. You just can't.
Oh, CatZ is moving out some roaches. I mean, if he built a spine claw, he might actually be able to defend for a good bit of time. And roaches take a lot of damage from these Marines, the +1 armor.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Marines were a little disjointed when they attacked. And of course, Burrow, he's got to save one of his command centers just for the attack Burrow, you know, like, or the defense Burrow, CatZ, rather.
Ooh, I like this decision from CatZ. He goes after the supply depots to supply block Dragon as much as possible. I guess, like, as long as he's supply blocked, I mean, he can't make any more units. You increase your chances in the base trade.
Oh, I mean, he intentionally finished that factory, and he lets it burn. It's pretty bad.
Oh. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit weird. This is gonna... I mean, I knew we were gonna have these kind of games.
CatZ wins. Oh, okay.
CatZ is defending. Yeah, CatZ is defending back at home.
It actually isn't that hard to call now.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward at this point. I mean, okay, Dragon, he's got 4 SCVs loaded up into one of his command centers, and I don't even know where the 5th SCV is. Let's see. It's building a starport underneath an Overlord.
If he could get a Banshee, that would change everything. But I don't think he can even afford a Banshee.
He's gonna die. Oh, he finishes the starport. Okay. Yeah, he doesn't have the gas. He only has 100 gas, so, I mean, building the tech lab alone would just take away too much gas to build a Banshee. Oh god. Well, okay, here's the thing. CatZ is just gonna send 1 unit to every single base on the map, and 1 roach at every single base will easily kill 4 SCVs. Like, he just straight up wins here, right?
I think so. It's too bad it's not Way Station. He has an island map to go to.
All right, Dragon is still producing Marines. So if CatZ doesn't leave at least a couple of units back at home, or if he just continues droning too heavily, maybe like 20 Marines could just walk into the main base of CatZ and just kill everything. Like maybe.
Oh. He has. Is he ever gonna get a scan available? Like.
Oh yeah, the drones could actually just burrow. That's actually a good point.
He's gonna try and take CatZ's main while Cat still has his natural. Okay. That makes
Alright,
sense.
Well, Dragon's muling. He's muling from the main base, his old main base. And I mean, one Zergling is there to try and kill those guys off, but the mule should be able to make 2 trips, I think, before it gets killed off. Oh, 1 trip, gets some minerals, but here are the Marines. There's a couple of roaches going to be popping out soon, though.
Yeah. And while the barracks buy him some time with the fronts, it doesn't buy him all the time in the world. And there's the burrow.
Oh,
Oh,
there's
yes,
a
it's
scan,
good.
actually.
They just run out of the scan range. There's still so many left over. There's
Yeah.
no way Cat Dragon wins this.
Well, okay, a couple of
Yeah.
Marines buying time. The roach is actually not going it. So CatZ is just going to sacrifice his lair
wasn't a-
and his...
That was funny.
He's going to sacrifice all of his units. He's going to sacrifice his base. I know that he has enough to make another.
Huh.
But I mean, this wall off is actually going to delay those roaches from moving in. There's only 2 roaches on the inside, as well as 2 Zerglings. That these Marines could theoretically just start going after the drones, maybe. Oh
He
no!
just needs to.
Well,
Yeah, that's too many roaches. There's no
Yeah.
way.
If there was a medevac, this would be a different story. But
If he could kill that hatchery. If he could straight up kill it, Cats would have enough to make another hatchery, and he could draw.
yeah,
But he can't kill it.
yeah. And I think Dragon, he's finally just out of everything, right? He's got an
He has
orbital
2
cannon
bases,
connected
so
to everything.
okay. Let's say, don't you dare just continue moving on, man.
Flood is built. It's a show match. Flow your buildings to the corner of the map. Draw out the game as long as possible. It's a strategy. You're trying to wear down your opponent. No, please don't. All right. Well, the series is evened up. This is technically what I was expecting from this series, but not quite what I was expecting.
No, not quite. Aggressive, sure. Weird, sure. But these two in a row, not looking like what I expect at all. I'm not sure how to cast it.
Yeah, it's okay. I guess at the beginning of the game, I was saying proxy 2 racks. How does this work on Vonnie Research Station? And my thought behind that was you can't really bunker rush the natural as you'd normally do with the proxy 2 racks. But not just that, you can't bunker rush the main base very easily. But CatZ went for the hatch first and then like droned up a little bit and then went for the spawning pool finally. And it didn't like get up a spine call. I think he just abandoned his main base. A lot of things sort of went weirdly in that game. It wasn't just like players kind of trying weird builders. It's like weird decision making as well.
Yeah. I do wonder when CatZ almost took down the 1 bunker if Dragon wasn't so intent on killing the hatchery and he had instead spent his time building more bunkers, would he have just straight up won? Because then the roaches of the bust through that, and then he's alerted to the fact that there's roaches.
Yeah. I was also wondering, like, in that situation, if CatZ just pulled all of his, like, I mean, if he just continued to mine with some of his drones, like, Dragon had to make the choice of, like, assaulting the main base or assaulting the natural. If CatZ had just left a couple of drones back there and he just moved across the map, could he have gotten there before the supply depot one was done? I don't even know if it was really like, there was maybe, like, 1 supply depot back at home. And I wonder if he could have, like, just gotten in and started killing Dragon off with his Zerglings.
I don't know.
It's million what ifs, ladies and gentlemen, but there's only one true statement right now that we can really assuredly say, and that's that we're moving into game number 3 with the series tied up 1-1. Let's go ahead and jump in and introduce the players. As we spawn up here in the top right-hand corner of the map, Deadwing is the red Terran player, Dragon.
In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, it's Root CatZ.
I'm just reading the chat. It's fantastic. This is the perfect series to learn how to play StarCraft.
Yeah, this is what you should do in all your games, guys.
This is standard play, ladies and gentlemen. Also, that GIF is amazing. That Marine King Prime GIF is just the perfect example of like what is going on in this game. Just like shoulder shrug, like I don't know what's going on, but I guess I won that game. Like I guess that worked out.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not gonna have 2-racks this game, but that doesn't mean anything because CatZ could still 1-base, Dragons could still 1-base. Honestly, it's without 2-racksing if that actually exists somewhere. It looks like he might be CC first. Though.
Wait, that drone is an early drone scout. I thought. Okay, he's going for the cross scout.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking like, is he going to the bottom left-hand base? Is he gonna like try and take a hidden expansion? Just because this series has played out so weird, like, if Dragon came in, scouted CatZ is like, where's your hatch? Where's your natural expansion? Where's your spawning pool? He might have just thought it was like some proxy hatch and freaked out. But CatZ is gonna take a very distant natural over his third.
So CatZ does this. We've been seeing it for like the last month or so, I think, on Deadwing. So I think we at one time thought about it. You bring this topic up on like, Vonnie, Alterzime, and Deadwing, and that if you take this base and it's still technically pretty safe, just not the safest that the map will give you, then you're going to accelerate your creep spread and you're going to have technically a safer natural base later on in desperate scenarios, one that's already like has just a little bit more mining. So CatZ apparently really liked that idea on Deadwing. I don't think many other people use it at all. But so far, it is a normal game, guys.
Yeah, and one of the big things to talk about, like in terms of creep spread, is in a normal game, which it seems like it's going to be mostly normal right now. Dragon would be getting out his Hellions after his command center and everything, and around the time the Hellions are coming out is right before those Queens would actually start getting the creep spread down below the third. So what that meant is you have this one kind of nice choke point where you just leave your Hellions there and you stop creep spread from going out onto the map. But once you get the creep tumors down on the low ground, that's when like the Queens can start defending the creep tumors and you put them in multiple locations and it becomes hard to actually pick off those creep tumors. So if CatZ can get the creep spread out down below the third before the Hellions are actually able to pop out, before any kind of damage is done over there, then could work out really well for CatZ. But are we actually gonna even see the creep tumors pop up that early? I don't know if you like sacrifice early larva injects or what doing that.
He could, I suppose. I don't think he does. There's actually a kind of a big debate, if you want to call it that, about like if you should sacrifice your first larva injects because you're not really going to have that much money anyways. And I think basically everyone agreed that's not necessarily the case unless you have a very specific strategy in mind. But actually, speaking of Zerg players, I never finished with like Pig's story about those upgrades. Where like Pig just coincidentally like 3 games we cast of him just didn't get upgrades, or he was entire 2 upgrades behind, entire 1 upgrade behind, and he still won. These are like 20-minute games. Like the upgrades really do matter, but because you just would overwhelm with Baneling, so sometimes upgrades aren't necessarily the defining factor in TVZ. Where I would say something like TVP, they would always matter.
Oh god, yeah, really definitely matter in TVP. But TVZ, let's see. We got Gas Guys is going down for CatZ. I mean, these are just like the normal 2 Gas Guys, just kind of playing catch up after opening up without Zergling speed or anything. And again, it's a normal game, Zombie Grub, and that's weirding me out. That's weirding me out more than if it was a weird game.
Yeah. Now, has CatZ seen that it is 3CC? No, that's too bad because this Overlord could very easily see the 3rd CC at the front. A Ling could see it. I mean, this was just the easiest scout ever. And then he could have maybe bust. But we actually have Dragon going for a tank here. This might just be a tank because he's scared, or it might be leading up into a drop later on as it is Deadwing. But there's no starport, so I think it's just because he's scared. Like, he doesn't want to deal with Hellions.
Yeah, that's a necessary component of the Siege Tank drop. Behind, by the way, for those who don't know, the Siege Tank drop, down beneath the natural expansion of CatZ, there is that awesome destructible rock area where you can just plant a Siege Tank and be in range of their natural expansion mineral line, as our lovely observer Korean TV is showing you guys. But you need the medevac to make that work, so it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. In fact, we got some Widow Mines now popping out.
Yeah. Well, Dragon in the first game, again, we don't know if that's Rax was in reaction to or a build he had in mind, didn't get a factory. Second game, didn't really have an opportunity to use it, so that's whatever. And the third game, still not getting Hellions, although it does get a factory. I mean, that is odd, okay? Like, Hellions aren't guaranteed defense like a tank basically is, but where tank gets defense, Hellions get offense. They actually are able to clear up creep. They're able to scout. They're able to maybe kill a queen if they're good enough control. I mean, there's a reason TVZ opens up with Hellions every game, and no one's really, like, you know, hates that fact, because they're actually kind of fun to use, and they're very much so, you know, the better player uses it the best and whatnot. So it's so just weird seeing them not do that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even with the Roach Warren having been thrown down for CatZ, I mean, what are the Roaches going to do? They're not going to move across the map because you need to have those Roaches back at home to defend and make sure the Hellions don't just kill all of your drones. So, kind of interesting. But I'm starting to wonder, like, maybe I was thinking that maybe Dragon got the Siege Tank early on because he went for the early 3cc and maybe... Ooh, wait. Did he just scan bottom left? Dragon knew where his opponent... He knew where CatZ was, right? No, he never scouted. Oh. Oh. Wow.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's actually interesting.
Funny. Too bad CatZ didn't go for like a super early mutas, because muta would like hit like a minute ago. Oh well.
That would have been fantastic. Yeah, I wonder if Dragon probably didn't even know that the early third was taken instead of the natural.
Yeah. No, he didn't. And he has no idea that's also going to be Roaches, which is another big problem. So he has one tank that would defend against a Roach Baneling or Baneling all in.
That's not a complete wall off. That's actually not a complete wall off right now.
He is in a lot of Roaches. This is really bad.
Oh, the command center's lifting up. It's just becoming a bigger and bigger gap.
Dragon might straight up lose here. He has nothing that helps against the Roaches except Widow Mine should they get any good hits.
All right. Well, CatZ is not moving in yet because he's not sure whether he needs to move in yet, and that's buying Dragon enough time to get up the supply depots. Changeling moving in. He sees the army over at the third, and honestly, why wouldn't he just move in? He's got the Overseer. Got to be careful with that. Doesn't want to lose that, but well, lifts up on the third. Oh God, there's nothing at that ramp.
No, the tank's still there, and he does have enough Marines. I think now, like when we were talking about like what we were like, he still only had like 10 Marines, 4 Widow Mines that could have gotten terrible hits, and 1 tank that was easily snipeable had he gone to the natural. Like, that's a completely different scenario than what we see here, which is actually not that bad at all. Dragon lives his third for a while, like, big deal. And the game does go on, and in fact, Dragon does not take any heat from scouting absolutely nothing. Like, if CatZ is going to Roach Hydra, he just does not have a good composition against it. You know, again, those Widow Mines are the best thing that he would have. But luckily for him, CatZ is transferring over into mutas, which is a fairly common thing to do, Roach into mutas. And what Dragon has is good against that, you know, Marine, Bio, Medevac, Marine, or Widow Mine.
Oh man, Dragon able to clean up all those Zergons. I think CatZ may be trying to use those Zergons to set off those Widow Mines on the Bioforce, but unfortunately all the Zergons die a little bit too quickly. And does CatZ even have like a Baneling nest? Okay, he does have a Baneling nest, so... He doesn't have any Banelings though, so I don't think he can like stay here for too long. And Dragon realizes that he's gonna start moving out and cleaning up creep.
So there's so much creep here, right? This is just stupid. This is what you get for not getting Hellions, right? That's a long time to clear up. And while technically Dragon could have tried to just blitz across the map, whoever does that? Like, Terran's way too scared to do that. So CatZ knew he would have time to make as many Banelings as he needs. He knew he could get up to almost 80 drones on 4 bases and have plenty of time to do whatever afterwards. Those Widow Mines are clumped up, and they go down.
Yep, Baneling's going to be getting some pretty decent hits off over here. The Roach is going to be able to use that extra armor upgrades, especially considering he's already gotten +2 armor on these Roaches. He's going to be able to easily tank all those Marine shots. He is just rocketing ahead after that.
I do not like how Dragon plays TVZ, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he was just like, he's trying to do something a little bit differently, go into like couple more, like start off with a siege tank and then kind of reconsider, like, wait a second, maybe this is such a good thing. Oh,
how do the Widow Mines hurt Dragon so much? Like, what the hell?
Well, Roach is going to be able to push on in, and they are going to be able to easily force a liftoff on this third, but even then, there are the Mutals over here. Roaches and Banelings cleaning up the entire army. Dragon's down to 28 army supply versus 90. I think CatZ is going to be able to push in over here for the win.
That wasn't even difficult. Like, oh my god. So it's I guess I kind of forgot. I wanted to mention it before, but get into that. CatZ's actually been having trouble with TVZ. He
Mhm.
says that it's still his worst matchup, even though a couple of weeks ago he showed a fairly strong showing against a pretty good Zerg player or Terran player. I don't think WCS, but another good tournament. He still was like, no, I'm not good at it. I don't understand it. So to see him just like be able to just absolutely dominate like that must be a good feeling for CatZ.
Oh, definitely. I mean, whenever you win games in your worst matchup and you win it like handily, it's just like you just feel better in general. That's gonna definitely pull over, I think, moving into the next game because remember, I think the series that was map 3. So now we have CatZ leading up 2-1.
Oh, an
So
expedition lost. Oh,
oh boy.
dude, I hope one of these players abuses it, but I'm thinking CatZ will abuse it more.
Yeah, there's some interesting things going on, and I could, you know what? Okay, this reminds me actually of an old map that some of you oldies for StarCraft will remember, Shakuris Plateau. And I'm not talking about the revamped Shakuris Plateau. I'm talking about the Shakuris Plateau that used to have destructible backdoor rocks to your main base. Yeah. And there was a very cool game. I remember it was the very first time in a professional match that I saw CatZ, or actually that I saw anyone, but it was CatZ going for the proxy hatchery and then using some spine crawlers and like roaches or queens, etc., to knock down the destructible backdoor rocks and just like expanding his way into his opponent's main base. And it was really scary. It looked really difficult to deal with. Now, if Dragon opens up similarly to how he did last game, he gets up a siege tank nice and early on, or he does something like that, like maybe it won't work out quite as well. But I guess at the same time, you have to consider Dragon went for the fast 3cc, so I don't know, like some kind of weird proxy hatch could work out.
Yeah. Don't want to bring up anything bad here, but we did see Marine King lose to a proxy hatch spinecrawler rush. I'm just saying. Could happen.
It's been known to happen. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump in and introduce the players without any further delay as we spawn down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, top of the blue Terran player. I'll note he has all of his SCVs here. I feel like that's something I have to like just mention in this kind of matchup or this series. Dragon not doing any proxies, but it is going to be Dragon.
The top right as the yellow Zerg, it's Roots CatZ.
So just to talk about like some of the weird things that could go on in this map, destructible backdoor rocks, kind of mentioned those. The gold expansions, I mean, I could see Zerg players trying to like find a way to defend and take the gold expansion because remember how we talked about how creep spread is really easy to do on Deadwing if you take your third? Well, when you take your expansion in the center of the map, you're literally starting your creep spread halfway through the map. So, I mean, there's that. There's all kinds of really weird, interesting things you can do on this map.
Yeah. CatZ has been known, we've cast a couple of games, for going for the middle base. Now, usually it's against Protoss. You know, because that's what he would do on Overgrowth as well. Like, he's pretty... I'd say most of CatZ shenanigans are most effective against Protoss. But, you know, versus Terran, occasionally he'll do it. I mean, he was the one, I feel, that really popularized and made legitimate the proxy hatch in the first place against Terran. You know, there was a time where if you proxy hatched them, the Terrans actually would just lose. They weren't sure how to deal with it, but of course people have figured it out since then. It's not really popular. But CatZ was the first one to do it and make it look really, really good. So I'm kind of surprised, honestly, he does not take the gold base. Maybe he had something up his sleeve, but maybe he just figured out that you can't do it against Terran. I'm not sure. Doesn't go for proxy behind the base either. I mean, he scouts, though, that Dragon went for another gases expand. That means no scouting. Like, Roach Baneling, you gotta. Just have to.
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay, well, we do finally have an SCV popping out for Dragon, so he's gonna do some scouting. If for nothing else, then maybe to check the gold.
Yeah, which is taken. Okay, great.
Oh, he's not gonna scout the gold. Oh,
so this is awesome. All right. So there's like even with the Reaper, there's a chance, actually, like not even that small, that that's not scouted, depending on which gold you take. So now that the SCV is definitely gonna, or I would say almost definitely gonna die, maybe it'll get out of there. That gold base might not get scouted, and Dragon doesn't go for Hellions either. Like, when is he ever gonna get on the map? This Marine's going the completely wrong direction.
Like, I'm trying to think what this Marine was designated to
Overlords.
do. Oh, actually, wait. If you tell like the zone level, well, no, there's not going to be able to see crease thread or anything. Yeah, I guess overlords. That does make sense. But
Yeah.
oh man,
Quite hard. And then SCV does survive, and it comes back the wrong way. Like, it's so silly how some people just don't like. Remember that one map in Pro League? I think it was on the map ladder map pool as well. Neoplanet S, was it?
yes,
With
Neoplanet.
the
Oh,
middle
man.
was the gold base, and there was no
Yes.
Xel'Nagas, so like people would literally just like bypass that middle constantly, and some people actually try to take hidden bases in it.
Is this Marine gonna attack the Zolanga? He might see the crease spread if he does. No, okay, actually, it wouldn't anyways. But
I just can't believe you do all this hunting and you
Oh.
don't see a freaking gold base.
he's literally scouted like above, to the left, down below, to the right of the expansion. He's seen everywhere around the expansion except for the expansion. Oh.
Okay, if he doesn't get Hellions, this game is like... Okay, so the Hellions don't come out, he doesn't scout the gold, he loses out because he doesn't have a gold, right? The macro suddenly is really bad. He gets a tank, at least he survives the Roach push. But he still, can't deny a gold. So, like, I feel like no matter what, Dragon's kind of in trouble here.
Yeah, and are Hellions even going to be the best response? Like, I mean, okay, the Hellions could
Against the
theoretically clean up
gold?
some... I mean, they can theoretically clean up some of the drones, but I mean, we already have roaches in production with
Right.
Burrow coming out.
Yeah. So like if it wasn't roaches, if Cats just trying to like, defend it with queens, spine crawlers, lings, then Hellions
Yeah.
are the way to go. But because he's getting roaches, then yeah, you probably just want to forgo the Hellions anyways. And it looks like he is just gonna try and maybe go up trip to a starport. No, he swaps over. Okay, so there actually are gonna be Hellions here. They're really be so helpful against roaches.
Yeah, Tekla is going to be throwing down next to the starport. I don't know if it looks like, I assume Banshee's going to be coming up. I don't know if they're going to be coming in time. Cass is no moving in. Dragon has vision of this. He cancels the supply depot, and he just retreats all out over to... There's no ball off again, Zombie Grub.
Oh god. Oh dear me. And behind this, Cats transfers a lot of drones over to that gold base. Again, like he loses out no matter what he really does. I mean, Dragon either takes damage because roaches or he survives and well there's still a gold base behind it. Like there's no truly winnable situation unless these Banshees do a lot of damage.
GG gets called, and Cat's going to be taking this series 3-1 with some interesting plays that honestly half of them, like the gold expansion part, didn't even come into effect. Like there was no benefit from it besides, I guess, faster roaches. Like they were out on the map quicker. I guess that was nice.
I don't even know because like only 2 drones were mining from that until he transferred them.
Yeah.
That was weird.
That was a very much an interesting series, though, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. I want to remind you guys, of course, that these show matches are made possible by Hitbox, so if you do enjoy the show matches, please do just, you don't have to do anything super crazy or, like, spend a lot of money or anything, but if you want to just click on through, if you're watching this in an embed on Team Liquid or something, like, check out Hitbox, the channel, like, sign up, communicate with us in the chat. We got voting going on, we got GIFs being posted in the chat, all kinds of awesome emotes and everything, and of course, if you do want to subscribe to the Team Gravity Fight Night channel and show your support a little bit more, then you could do that. You'll get access to posting the GIFs as well as also doing all kinds of other fun stuff, and you get that nice little subscriber icon, etc. But I think with that being said, guys, we're going to be going to a short little break as we get the next series set up. It is going to be State versus Seed. Presumably a more serious series than this one, but should be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to seeing how State does since his training in Korea. All right, well, see you guys in a little bit.